Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from Worldcast Anglers. First and foremost, I want to wish everybody a wonderful, happy 4th of July holiday coming up. And I'm coming at you with your Jackson Hole fly fishing forecast for the weekend of July 4th and 5th. The greatest holiday of the year, in my humble opinion, is coming up tomorrow. And we couldn't be more excited about it, as well as the fishing opportunities that we have in the greater Jackson Hole area at this time. Seems like everything is ticking on all cylinders. It's one of those days, as you've probably listened to my fishing reports in the past. You throw a dart at the dartboard, and you'll probably find some pretty good fishing. Big water like the South Fork, small water like the Teton, some of our walkway tributaries like of the Snake and those types of things. Areas of Yellowstone National Park opening up, lakes and reservoirs. It's all good. So hopefully you're getting out tomorrow or this extended holiday weekend to enjoy some time on the water and fishing with family and friends. So first and foremost, be safe, and we hope that you enjoy your time out together celebrating our nation's independence and our 250th birthday of America. Saturday, 4th of July, it's looking hot and dry. We had a wet, cold start, to the week. Definitely had some snow up high. Grand Targhee had around 9 inches of snow, and we had over a inch and a half in rain, which is something that we really, really needed. So thanks to the rain gods for that. But looking into this weekend, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be hot, and it's going to be dry, which is sort of perfect for the 4th of July holiday. We've got 82 and 55 for the 4th of July there, and lots of sun, 85 and 53 there, with mostly sunny skies on Sunday. Looking into our 10-day forecast, it's more of the same, more high pressure setting in, hot, dry, 80s, 50s at night, pretty typical summer weather here in the greater Jackson Hole area. Palisades Reservoirs, 43% of capacity. Jackson Lake's 82% of capacity. So we're definitely starting to see some of those reservoirs draft more than what they're taking in. So we're going to start to see reservoir levels start to drop throughout the summer season. So 4th of July is a special day for all of us here in the Teton Valley area. The fly shop will be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're going to end a couple hours early for our shop staff to go out and hang out with family and friends and enjoy the barbecues and the live music and everything like that. The Victor Parade is at 10 a.m., so we'll be open. Stop in. We'll be giving out some complimentary Worldcast Anglers USA flag stickers and some koozies to people that stop in. They're first come, first serve. So check us out, on your way to or from the parade here in Victor. Get all your things for heading towards the water, or head over to the Knotty Pine and check out the music. But we'll be here, but we're closing at 6 p.m. The South Fork of the Snake, we've got 14,000 CFS coming out of Palisades Dam, 13,700 CFS there on the lower river around Heise. We saw the flow increase over 2 increments yesterday. We heard some mixed reports on how, that flow increase affected the fishing, more in some areas than the other. But the South Fork's still a pretty darn solid bet. We've got some really good golden fishing right now, leftover salmon flies in the canyon. So your big bug fishing paired with droppers has sort of been the name of the game. Your water walkers, some of your chubby Chernobyl patterns, and some of your salmon fly patterns paired with rubber legs, Duracells, Perdigons, tungsten, jig pheasant tails, any of that stuff has been all good. The small riffle fishing has been pretty darn productive as well. These fish are starting to get educated, which is quite quick. But, there's a lot of people out there enjoying the good fishing on the South Fork of the Snake. PMD patterns have been the name of the game, with some yellow sallies and some caddis mixed in. So definitely stop in some of those riffles, some flats, some eddies, and you'll definitely find some fish sipping on those small dry flies. The Snake in Jackson, we still got 5,000 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake Dam, 8,380 CFS on the lower river. So last week we were pumping around 10 to 11,000 CFS. So we're starting to see some of that in-stream flow drop as the last sort of pieces of runoff have trickled out, and we're going to start to see those in-stream flows start to curb off. Flows are still high. I've been saying that, so expect that for the summer season ahead of those 5,000 CFS discharges coming out of Jackson Lake Dam. We had some great reports coming back from the Snake this week, especially in the park and in the forest. Dry dropper fishing has been good, but you've got to remember, with some of those turbid higher flows, you're going to have to get a little more aggressive with your droppers, maybe a little bit more length and a little bit more weight But gutties love dry flies, and we've had some good reports of some dry fly fishing too. Chubby Chernobyls, Chernobyl bugs, water walkers, fool's gold golden. Those have been some of the favorites mixed in with your favorite droppers has been really productive. Not much to say of the small dry fly fishing, but I would be ready with maybe a leftover drake, PMDs, caddis, and yellow sallies as well. The Teton in the Valley, 472 CFS outside of Driggs, 791 down there around St. Anthony. So similar to the snake, we're starting to see those free stones and those in-stream flows start to taper off and get over that hump from the peak areas there. The valley up here is dropping into shape and it's been fishing really well. Clear flows, pretty stable. Drakes, PMDs, Goldens, Yellow Sally's, Caddis. It's sort of been a bug bonanza up here. Dry fly fishing has been good and it should get more consistent as things get more stabilized from that cooler, wetter weather that we had earlier this week. The lower river still fishing pretty darn well with dry dropper styled stuff and streamers, and even the lower river, like around the old dam site and stuff, has been quite productive as well. So definitely top to bottom, the Teton is a sure bet and a good bet going into the 4th of July weekend. Henry's Fork, we've got 1,060 CFS, which is a drop up there in the Box Canyon, 1,530 CFS around Ashton. So moving from top to bottom, we're starting to see some of that fishing in that lower river start to get pinpointed on those early morning and late evening periods. I would concentrate on maybe some leftover flabs or drakes with your PMDs and your caddis. I'd start packing in some terrestrials in my box if I was heading there towards the lower Henry's Fork. The warm river to Ashton, as well as lower Mesa and Riverside and stuff, has still been pretty solid, dry dropper style with Goldens paired with your favorite droppers all around the typical sort of turbid water, rock ledges, pools, eddies, all sorts of stuff. It's been really good. And then if you move up to the ranch, we're still seeing some pretty consistent fishing up there with these sort of lower flows, around 1,000 CFS, leftover green drakes, leftover flavs, any PMD, and sort of your caddis. And like I said, I'd start throwing in some of those smaller hoppers and those beetles and those ants too for maybe later coming into the 10-day when things are hot and dry and we get some of these breezy afternoons. Box Canyon is still a solid bet too. With those flows, it's allowing those fish to move around and get around, and they're in all sorts of different types of water. It's a great half day, full day, 3/4 day, whatever you want to make of it. Nymphing is a solid productive method in the Box Canyon, but don't rule out the dry dropper too. Looking into some other things, South Fork of the Snake and Teton River tributaries opened on July 1st. Now they're probably lower than usual due to our low snowpack and our faster runoff, but that's going to offer up some other local fishing opportunities. Pine Creek, Big Elk, some of those other ones definitely are going to have some good fishing opportunities for the walk wade angler, as well as the stabilization of a lot of the tributaries over in the Snake River drainage. Pacific Creek, Buffalo Fork, Grovant, Hoback. Be aware of that landslide thing up Granite Creek. It doesn't seem to be adding as much turbidity as it was, but it's something, to take note. Grays, any of those things are wide open for the walk wade angler right now. And that's a great way to get away from traffic on the 4th of July. We haven't talked much about the salt. We haven't talked much about the green. Those are other great options. So, full circle back again. Wherever you're going to head, you're probably going to have some pretty darn good fishing coming into the 4th of July weekend. It is busy. A lot of the boat ramps are going to be congested. We're all in the same boat per se. So definitely get out and enjoy it, but be patient, be flexible, pivot when you need to, and allow people all their space just as much as you want your space to enjoy being out on the water with family and friends and trying to catch some fish and having a good time. So once again, we're closing early on the 4th of July at 6 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. We've got some free World Cast Angler stickers and koozies, limited supplies while they last there. Parade starts at 10 a.m. We'll see everybody on the 4th of July. Have a safe weekend and a wonderful weekend on the water. Happy birthday, America. This is the big 250. So go out, celebrate, and have a good one.